Hi everybody! Hi Itamar! So today we want to present you with a theory that maybe right before the end of the story there will be a second Red Wedding.
Another red wedding?
So the Red Wedding was one of the most incredible, maybe the most incredible moment, iconic moment of the story, both the books and the show.
Yeah.
People were like, what the fuck just happened here?
What the fuck? It reminded us that this story is not the story that we think it is.
Right.
I mean, this arc of revenge, the son will avenge his father.
The good people winning.
The good people winning, the bad people losing. And basically the story said, what do you think a 16-year-old boy or 19 in the show will win over Tywin Lannister? Come on. It's not realistic. Surprise us, shock us, and by doing that, teach us something about this world and about this story.
Right.
It's a storytelling method by George R. R. Martin.
Right. And when we go back, we say, we should have seen that coming.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It's our fault that we didn't see the Red Wedding coming, because when you reread it, it leads up to disaster, the same with Ned.
When you play the Game of Thrones, you either win or you die. And George R. R. Martin even said that being a good person or a good king, a good leader,
right, like a moral person, doesn't necessarily means you'll be a good king or good ruler, even the opposite.
The opposite. So why do you think there would be another Red Wedding?
I think it works really well story-wise. So bear with me. Like the Red Wedding, it closed the arc for many characters, mainly Robb and Catelyn, and the Starks as a power player in this story. But it opened new arcs. Like some of them paid the price. Like the Lannisters, they had the Purple Wedding, and then Tywin got killed. The Boltons, we see in season 6. We assume in the books they're gonna suffer the same fate. They betrayed, they died.
The phrase ate their own during the wedding of the Bolton with the fake Arya.
Right. But other characters' arcs from the Red Wedding have not been completed. Sansa and Arya. Arya was just there and Sansa was supposed to go back. They were victims, right? So Arya is starting now to avenge the Red Wedding.
Yeah.
And Sansa is gaining power, but they're not there yet. And also Tyrion. When you think about it, he was against the Red Wedding afterwards. Like he argued with his dad.
Yeah.
And he told him, no, this was a wrong thing to do.
Do you disapprove?
But to slaughter them at a wedding.
Explain to me why it is more noble to kill 10,000 men in battle than a dozen at dinner.
Yeah, we finished nice and clean, but with a sense of, indecency. George R. R. Martin likes to play with our expectations.
That he does.
He sets up for the characters like these plans and whatever, and expectations and ambitions and goals, but then takes them away and go into his room and laughs about it.
And you can see like this arc, like, for example, let's say Ned, his honor is his best quality, and then his best quality, and gets him killed. And Tywin always talks about his family, how family is important to him, and then his family killed him because he didn't even look at them really, just like the idea of his family. That's actually a quote from Cersei. So what I think a second Red Wedding will look like, the Starks will go from victims to the aggressors. So when we cried with them during the Red Wedding, maybe now they will be the bad guys. I think it could be a very, very interesting and compelling arc that would make us struggle after all this time. Our guys are doing this immoral and horrible thing. We thought that they were the good guys. You know that he doesn't have good guys, just circumstances.
Yeah, we expect something to happen between Jon and Daenerys. Maybe
they have to get together sooner or later.
They get together, they sleep with each other, they will fall in love, and
the ice and the fire.
Yeah, and they will get married.
Some people believe that the story will end happy ending with Jon and Daenerys together. What we think is that this will happen before the end and something bad will happen later. The second Red Wedding that Sansa does with Tyrion and with Arya against Daenerys and against Jon, I think it's a singular event that ties all these arcs together perfectly. Let me explain. look what I wrote. Okay, so first, we think, looking at the story, from its historical inspirations and from the story, we think that Sansa will end up winning the Game of Thrones and being the queen, right? It makes sense in a lot of ways. And in order to get there, in order for that to be interesting and not her just be the same old Sansa, just queen, but a ruling queen, she has to become cruel. Ruthless. She has to become Tywin-like.
Yeah.
She has to do something really shady that is so unlike where she started with the songs about the knights and her being a victim of the evil Lannisters. Now she will be the evil Stark.
That's the game. You play or be played.
And Tyrion, I think Tyrion, they make quite a big deal about him.
This is how you look without glasses?
Don't remember last night. Don't remind me. No, תחזור עכשיו לפה. And Tyrion, right? So he was against the Red Wedding. He's like a good Tywin. And he thinks, am I my father's son? And his father tells him, you are not my son. And then in Feast for Crows, there's a foreshadowing. Like Jaime's aunt tells him, Tyrion, him and no other, this imp, this ugly, disfigured person is really the heir of this singular great person, Tywin Lannister. So he can come full circle and do what Tywin did, and betray Daenerys.
But for the Starks.
For the Starks, because we think he will betray Daenerys.
It makes sense in terms of the prophecy that's basically waiting for this betrayal to come.
Like a third one.
A third betrayal, and she draws Tyrion to her side, and
Right.
Tyrion is very cynical, but also has its morals and whatever,
Right.
and his political savviness, and maybe we'll realize that Daenerys is not the dragon to bet on.
Right, and I think we
the
can see.
wolf.
I think we can see hints for that when he's talking about political structures. Even in the show, he talks to Jorah.
Have you ever heard baby dragons singing?
No.
It's hard to be a cynic after that.
Doesn't mean she's going to be a great queen.
No, it doesn't.
The Targaryens are famously insane. What if she conquers the world? Then what?
He said to her, you need to convince me to help you.
Right.
And she convinced him by being like this, mythical figure, but
Right.
when the dirty work would have to be done.
Right. Who to marry, what to do, where
and he
to
will
go,
see
alliances.
maybe some of her Targaryen characteristics plays out, madness and megalomania and
Right.
whatever. Maybe he will be the one who
Right.
has the knife and send his regards.
Tyrion Lannister. Send their regards.
In the Sansa case, if you have like two queens, one we think maybe is based on Elizabeth or Elizabeth the first road to ascension.
Right.
Like after a lot of beheadings and whatever, she became the queen, Elizabeth. But that wasn't the end of it exactly, because she had a cousin, Mary Queen of Scots, that she had a claim to the throne of England as well, and she tried to rebel against her, but later was locked up in a castle, and after maybe something like 15, 20 years, she was beheaded for
But who's Sansa's cousin in this place?
maybe Daenerys. Because maybe Daenerys and Jon are
they're
related,
brothers.
so maybe.
And it's also a Targaryen thing to marry your sibling. Oh,
so maybe in terms of inspiration, of course not one-to-one, but there will be this thing of two queens or two, contenders,
Right.
female contenders.
Right.
That one will stay unmarried, the one will try to take a husband to get to the throne. But even with all that, I don't know. Will
You're not
Georgia?
convinced?
I don't know. Another wedding, another shock moment.
Do you think it will be just another wedding?
It
the
sounds
same?
like repetitive. I mean, we expect it as a crowd. I think if you know what you're watching. So, John and Danny getting married and live
like,
after.
like alarms go off.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And the reign of Castamere already is starting to play in your mind when
Right.
you think about that.
I get that. I'm working under the assumption that that he will do it, that he can do it very, 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 very well. For example, the war is over, the monsters lost, Daenerys, and then it's like an epilogue kind in style of what Tolkien did in Lord of the Rings. Like you have a few chapters that you feel it's an epilogue. The war is over, the heroes of the war, they are getting married, it's going incredibly well, and you don't have any reason to think that it won't go well because this is the end of the story already. And then at the end, somebody pulls a knife, sticks it, Sansa, boom, 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 and you're like, what the fuck just happened? Oh no! After the sweet part of the story, right? Everything is great, everything is just as you expected, and then boom, 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 Shanks, people are dead. Sansa has to do something really big and really cruel in order for her to be queen. Story-wise, I'm thinking like story-wise, it has to be something big. And she has to get there with Tyrion somehow. And Tyrion has to betray Daenerys. And if Daenerys and Jon indeed get married, so this is like this one event that makes all the other arcs work, and then afterwards, the realm is different. Nobody will rebel because it's already after the war. Everybody will have to accept the new ruler. And maybe I can see Sansa looking a little bit like Cersei at the end of the season, like looking like really cold and really cruel.
Long may she reign.
Now being an aggressor. And if that happens, I would recommend Sophie Turner, if you're watching this, when you get married, you have to put like metal detectors in the entrance to your wedding because some crazy person will certainly come up and say, "For Daenerys! For the watch!" So, beware.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
I don't know, it doesn't have to happen, but I think it could happen.
Yeah, it could happen. I definitely see a red wedding moment coming up. I mean, you have to expect it. Like some beloved character will die unexpectedly or whatever.
Right. So
But
maybe
in
it
a
will
wedding,
be
maybe
a
it will-
birthday.
Maybe it will be like the red bar mitzvah or something like that.
The red bar mitzvah.
Yeah,
It's better than
Later
the red
bar-
birthday.
Yeah, red bar mitzvah.
Okay, Saba, what do you think? Do you think it makes sense? Do you have any other ideas about what could happen at the end for us, for the story to get where it needs to go? Be sure to mention in the comments. And this is our Sansa Queen video and our How Sansa Will Become Queen video. Watch them, you definitely should. And subscribe to get all our videos. If you want to support our channel, you can pledge any amount on Patreon. And you get extra content. For example, we had conversations about the relationship between Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu and our own stories from the conflict, Brexit and all kinds of cool stuff. So whatever amount you pledge, you get access to those high society videos. Right, you can also purchase this shirt and others. The links are in the description if you want to support us and help us do more videos. So thank you, and we'll see you all next time. Bye, everybody!
Intense pressure now on the Paris Saint-Germain defence. It's Neymar trying to feed it through. It's a stretch, and it's in! And I can't remember the last time I saw something like this. Extraordinary scenes at the new camp.
T'estimu Sergi Roberto, gol del Barça, gol del Barça. Gol del Barça, gol del Barça.
What a pass from Neymar.